Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I really appreciate you spending a few times here today. This week has been one of the most chaotic and talked about moments surrounding the Jeffrey Epstein documents, especially with the newest batch of emails bringing fresh attention to figures like Donald Trump and Bill Clinton. And while a lot of people online are jumping straight into assumptions, I want us to break this down clearly, responsibly, and without shying away from the uncomfortable questions. Before anything else, it's important to remember what often gets overshadowed. Behind all the headlines, this case is fundamentally about real harm committed against young individuals. Their experience, not the reputation of powerful people, should be at the center of any discussion. Now, in the latest release of more than 20,000 documents from the Epstein estate, Trump's name showed up over 1,600 times across various email threads. Most of these mentions are brief, but the sheer volume understandably raises questions about how close these circles really were. One 2011 email described Trump as a dog that didn't bark, referring to allegations that surfaced at the time. Another 2019 message suggests he had privately warned Ghislaine Maxwell to stop inappropriate behavior, something that adds another layer of curiosity to their relationship. Trump has denied wrongdoing, and several survivors have stated he wasn't involved in the abuse, but the surrounding context still feel important to examine carefully. Clinton's name didn't appear in this week's batch, but earlier records confirm multiple flights he took on Epstein jet for, they say, charitable trips. Like Trump, he has denied any awareness of Epstein's criminal actions. And then there's the email that resurfaced online this week, a 2018 message from Mark Epstein, Jeffrey's brother, asking whether Vladimir Putin had the photos of Trump blowing Buba, B-U-B-B-A. The term Buba itself is widely known as Bill Clinton's nickname, though Mark Epstein later claimed it wasn't referring to Clinton. The intent behind the message is unclear, whether it was a joke, sarcasm, or something else entirely, but this highlights the strange, murky, and often contradictory nature of the communication surrounding Epstein's world. There's no evidence that such photo exists, but the email itself underscores just how tangled and political this case has become. Meanwhile, political tension escalated even further on November 14th, when President Trump directed Attorney General Pam Bondi to investigate Epstein files, specifically to Democratic figures. At the same time, lawmakers from both parties are pushing the Epstein Files Transparency Act, calling for the release of all remaining unredacted records, while still protecting the identities of survivors and sensitive national security details. So in today's video, we are going to break down what these documents actually say, explore the political reason around them, and look at why accountability and transparency matter. As we move deeper into this story, the biggest challenge isn't the volume of the documents, it's the noise surrounding them. Every new release creates an online storm, and the truth often gets buried under speculation, political narratives, and content designed to go viral rather than inform. So in this segment, I want us to slow down a little, look at what's actually in the documents, and understand what can and cannot be concluded from them. The first thing to recognize is that these records span years of communication from a network that operated in private spaces, exclusive circles, and high-level social environments. That alone explains why so many public figures appears in the email and logs. Proximity to someone like Epstein can raise question, of course, and when the internet latches on the name without reading the context, it becomes very easy for misinformation to spread. One of the major points highlighted by this week's release is the sheer volume of context that Epstein's circle maintained. Many of these emails are logistical, scheduling flights, setting up meetings, forwarding invitations. Others are casual exchange reference people in political or business spheres. This is especially true when it comes to political figures. Mentions of well-known individuals can create the impression of direct involvement, but we have to separate public reaction from what the documents actually show. Some references are brief, some are sarcastic, some are second-hand reports of conversation, and many lack any further explanation. In cases like this, context matters just as much as content, and this is where responsibility comes in. Online discussions often jump straight to the most sensational conclusion. But responsible analysis demands that we hold two things at the same time. First, that the public deserves clarity about the extent of Epstein's connection, and secondly, that being referenced in this document is not absolute evidence of criminal behavior. Both statements can be true, and ignoring that balance only leads to more confusion. Another major theme emerging from this release is how inconsistently the communication were structured. Some emails are professional, others are informal, and a few mix personal commentary with political gossip. That inconsistent itself has fueled speculation, especially when messages reference well-known individuals in vague or ambiguous ways. But again, vague does not mean incriminating, it means unclear, and unclear information requires more verification, not more assumptions. And this is also why transparency matters. When only fragments of a picture are available to the public, those fragments get filled in by public imaginations rather than verified facts. That's one reason many lawmakers, commentators, and even advocacy groups have pushed for a more systematic release, something that gives a full view rather than scattered piece. A complete, well-redacted dataset will minimize misinterpretation while still protecting the identity of survivors. What's also becoming clear is how deeply political the discourse has become. For years, reactions to this case have been split along the party lines, with each side accusing the other of shielding certain figures. But the documents themselves don't respect party boundaries. They reference individuals across the political spectrums, across industries, across continents, and that raises an uncomfortable but necessary point. The patterns we're seeing are less about ideology and more about access, influence, and elite networks that most people never interact with. That complexity plays a big role in how this story evolves. Whenever new information comes out, political groups interpret it through their own lenses, some using it as evidence of broader corruption, others as proof that the other side is deflecting. This back and forth creates an environment where genuine questions can get lost in the political theater. But if the purpose of transparency is accountability, then accountability can't be selective. It has to apply universally, whether the names in the documents are familiar or, well, uncomfortable. This is why the broader lessons of this release isn't just about individuals, it's about the system itself. The Epstein case reveals weaknesses in oversight, gaps in accountability, and the consequences of letting powerful networks operate with little scrutiny. Even without new allegation, the documents show how easily influence can move across institutions without triggering red flags. Understanding the system is crucial if we want to prevent similar cases in the future. Another point worth addressing is how survivor voices fit into this conversation. Too often, the public dialogue gets dominated by political takes, celebrity speculation, and debates about reputation. But the foundation of this case is the experience of those who were harmed. Their stories are the reason the document is so important, the reason the investigations must continue, and the reason transparency is being demanded by the public. So now I want to hear it from you. Did any part of this week change how you see the broader story? Did the leaked email raise new questions? Or do you think we're still scratching the surface? Drop your thoughts in the comments, I read every one of them, and your perspectives help shape what we cover next. If this breakdown brought you some clarity in a chaotic news cycle, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for being here today. Stay informed, stay thoughtful, and as always, stay kind. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.